Okay, this video is dedicated to Snail channel. Now, apparently I don't know how to do hinges. I was talking crap, I guess. I was not talking crap. All I was doing was really trying to suggest a few things that makes it easier. This hinge here is the absolute easiest basic hinge you could possibly make. This hinge is made from metal that is you get from any paper clip. They come in different diameters. They even come coated. I've used the coated versions in different diameters for spark plug boots, all kinds of things. Little handles on tools, in scale, of course. Now, when you make these, one of the things I like to do is when you stretch out the paper clip, okay, I like to use styrene. The reason I like to use styrene is because when you glue styrene into styrene, or onto styrene, it holds better. I've done it with epoxy and had them break. I've done it with super glue, had them break. Super glue is a little stronger, but gluing this styrene directly to the styrene itself with styrene glue, and accordingly, if it's the plastic, and we've had problems with it before with different plastics today. They're all recycled, but anyway, 9 out of 10 times this will fuse to the body. This one here, why on green earth would I cut this open if I didn't know how to do this? I'm going to redo this. I did this once, and I'll redo it again. I will use tape on this just to illustrate what I'm going to do. But it would be glued here with styrene glue. And the styrene is going to melt the tube. Sometimes I use tube. Sometimes I use U-channel. Sometimes I use square tube. Okay? But generally I like to glue it styrene to styrene and reinforce with super glue. One little tricks you could do is a lot of people end up having to put up little prop rods to hold the thing open and hold the trunk open or hold the door open. What I do is when I straighten this out, okay, I'll leave a slight kink like that inside of it. This way, when this rolls through the tubing, that slight kink will give it resistance, and it'll do this. See, as I pop it up, it holds itself in place. Put it down, it holds itself in place. So it won't need a prop rod. You gotta be careful how much tension you add, because it can basically pull it away from the plastic as it goes up and down. So it just needs to be a minimal amount to not do it. Now, let's go on to examples of old work that I had. Okay? When I said I even opened up the Superbird's front end, the door lights on the front, I did. This thing didn't survive my moves. I went homeless. And when I went homeless, everything got just destroyed. But there you go. 2 lights. They're not correct. They're square. I've got plans to do another one. Round lights with actual lighted. Maybe even added a power one. See, both lights open and close together in the same exact way that I did this. Now let's see if I can do that Cougar one. And of course I'm going to do this. This 63 Corvette, I had a Revell one, which I gull winged like an SL Mercedes. I always wanted one, so that's what I want to do. And I'm going to cut these doors out, and I'm going to make these doors open like a gull wing. I did it with a Revell monogram version a long time ago. Again, things happen. Models got destroyed. It's been lost. Let me set this up to make the make it fit in, do the trunk at least. See, this is just a mock-up. I use the tape to hold it in place. When I would do it, you know, for a permanent situation, I would use the tape to guide it and put it in place, and then cement everything in place, and then open and close it and make sure it closes right. This needs adjustment, but it proves my point. This is the easiest possible hinge you can make. The reason that it goes down is because the whole thing is moving inside the tape itself. But as you can see, there you go. It will stay. Once it's glued solid, it will stay. But here you go, closing it. And this is just a few minutes of doing it. And this is because this is absolutely an opening away from the body. Okay, so it makes it very easy to do. It's the most simple of the types to replicate. You have to make sure there's room. If you have the tub here, the interior tub, make sure all that clears and everything else. Now for a door, it would be the same thing, but most doors, unless it's a 32 Ford or something in the 40s, will open like this. It will not open like that. That's how a lot of die-cast cars open. High-end die-cast cars don't open like that. High-end die-cast will open like this. The door will go into the fender and open like that. The same way as my 442 that I'm building right now would open. Let's say, take for instance, probably, I think this old Buick here, Franklin Mint Buick, which is pretty dusty. I have to clean her up a little bit. But the old Franklin Mint opens that exact same way, where the doors open out. Okay, so that's like 99% of the time. The older vehicles opened like that, but not the newer, more modern cars. It wouldn't be 100% accurate. My another die cast I got over here that has the correct way of opening the doors is my 71 Charger. You look at the 71 Charger, he's a little dirty, a little dusty, that's life. It has an accurate opening door, where the door opens into the fender. This is a much harder thing to do. That's why I said opening the doors or the trunk like that, opening away from the body, is the absolute simplest way to open a door. So it's not as hard as that right there. The hinges on this are actually pretty accurate. They look like actual hinges of a car in this size. It has the opening hidden headlights, if I can get my hand in there to open it. There you go. Both sides open like that. It's a pretty cool car. Good thing I have a real one sitting outside. Now on to the 442. Okay, here's the 442. The door is removable at this point. I hinge the door at the actual door. The door is the one that moves in and out, not hinged in here. In here I've glued in styrene tubing inside there. If I can get the light on there. See? That's where those pins fit in. This took a while because I'm using the body effects kit on it, okay, on this 442, and that changes the way the door opens. I'm going to have to make a little sacrifice on the opening, a little larger, because the constraints are there, not there where this door is going to open correctly. But the reason I make it removable, and I'll make the trunk, when I do the trunk, removable, there won't be much space in here because there's not enough space under that package shelf where the Dutchman panel here is to actually put a place for the hinge, so I'll have to work that out. But still, this is, like I said, the trunk is the simplest one to fix. But I make it so it's removable so I can paint them. If I were to put it on there and glue it on there and try to paint everything, I have to make the door jambs inside here. These have to be made. I have to make the door jambs inside here. If you look at the old Superbird here, it still has vestiges of where the door jambs were on this one. Broken, yes, but still vestiges of my attempt at the doors open. This car had fully open doors, fully opening headlights. Okay, it had the trunk opening. It was a great car when I put it together. Just on a side note, a lot of the engines that, you know, over the years you put together and you detail, and models get destroyed, you save the engines. This one came out of the old Chevy Hugger. There's a tri-power in here somewhere. This one came out of the, still has the coil hooked up to it. It came out of the, I think it was the 66 Revell, Chevelle. That, of course, is in pieces as well in the junkyard, model junkyard somewhere. And I think another Chevy, blown Chevy, which I like to wire all the time. And the Jungle Jim's engine, that got destroyed. Things happen. You know, the world says, hey, you're not gonna build models today. You're gonna be out on the street. And there's that tri-power that I made a little while. I think that came with the 66 GTO. I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% on that. But I have that somewhere in the model junkyard, you know, box somewhere that I'm building. But back to the 442. Now, when you put this in, the 442, and the pins go back in to where I put them before, okay? It took me a while to work this. This took me, I think, 4 tries to get this to open the way it does. To open like that and close like that. Of course, it's not going to open and close correctly until I put it together like this, tape it, set the gaps, glue the door in, and then it'll open. I was not trying to be a smartass. I was not trying to act like, oh, I know everything. I was just telling you that the simplest possible way to do something, the simplest hinge, is this one. Right here. This is the simplest. This is the most complicated. Right here. It's not something to play with. This can drive you nuts on certain models. Certain models can't even be opened because there's not enough room in either the vent window or inside here in the cowl. There's not enough room. Some modelers take a complete model and cut the doors out and cut the doors out of the other one in order to make the gaps so small that they're extremely accurate. I'm not going that far. I don't have that much time. Well, that ends my video. Happy New Year, everybody.